Well, it's time for another episode of Shelton City Council Looking Ahead with City Manager Mark Ziegler. And Tuesday night is a business meeting for the City Council. But prior to that, you have a Park District meeting at 5:45. And the only reason I bring that up is because there's a presentation on that agenda about Northcliffe Park and its progress so far. And Mark, can you update us on that?
Yeah, absolutely. An exciting presentation. I think from my perspective, specifically, spending so much time here and managing the Parks and Recreation Department. We have a new play structure that's been installed up at Northcliffe Neighborhood Park. We had a volunteer group install that back in December. We worked for the audit process and tweaks and repairs that usually occur when you're installing something new. And so that process is done. And we'll officially open the playground up for for the public to utilize that. And the park's not done. It's been quite wet, so we haven't been able to improve the trail and some access and repair the turf around the play structure from the construction date. But that'll take place this spring and summer. But we're happy to announce that that play structure will be open and available to that community.
So at 6 o'clock is the business meeting, and it's a pretty busy agenda. Top of the list, though, library deck grant acceptance. And this is kind of cool because that library deck has been unutilized for how many years?
Wow. I don't know if I can tell you specifically. Yeah, it's been over 10 years since we've allowed public access out on that deck. Staff applied for a capital facilities grant through the Department of Commerce last year. We received $70,000. It's a 50% match for those repairs. So between the city and Timberline Regional Library District, ponying up some funds to match that $70,000. We'll replace the waterproof membrane on the deck, repair some of the rot, replace the railings, and make that deck area accessible again to the general public. So it'll be a great amenity addition to for the patrons that night.
Speaking of grants, you have another big grant for the Angleside. Tell me about that.
Yeah, specific Angleside. Well, we have to thank our delegation, our 35th delegation for this. That came out of the session last year, $1.8 million direct appropriation for repairs of the Angleside Reservoir and Angleside Booster Station. We determined, well over a year ago that we have some storage capacity issues in that reservoir on the south side of town, Angleside, and it needed some fixing. So hired an engineering firm to work through that with the city of Shelton, determine some fixes, and luckily enough, the legislature approved that $1.8 million to create some of those fixes, and it opens up capacity for new construction in our community, and it adds more capacity again for fire flow that meets fire code and ensures that we have enough water in those tanks to fight fires at an adequate level, especially on the south side of town. So really happy to kick that project off.
You have a public hearing on the agenda as well. This is about frontage improvement charges and transportation impact fee. It's a code update, but you were telling me there might be a credit involved in this?
Yeah, so this is part of an ongoing process over the last couple of years to determine what's the appropriate frontage improvements, particularly for infill lots. If you have a single lot within a block, there might be varying levels of improvements. It might be a gravel road, paved road, no sidewalk at grade, or a curb gutter sidewalk. So we really wanted to come up with a plan that allowed the development community clear and concise development regulations. At the same time, we encourage these infill developments, these houses that might be built mid-block throughout a lot of the areas that are either underbuilt or not built at all within the city that are replatted. So we developed those infill development standards late last year, I guess. And then now we have some changes to do. There's a traffic impact fee associated with capacity development for the impacts of this new construction and the new trips that would be generated off any new construction, whether it's residential, commercial. So within this code, this allows for somebody to actually build that infrastructure and get the credits to that traffic impact fee rather than just paying the city that impact fee. A contractor could actually pay for that themselves, install those improvements, and actually do it at a much lower cost than the city could down the road. It also allows for a in lieu of fee. So if there's 5 or 6 houses on a block and there's one lot in the middle that's undeveloped, you want to develop that lot and there's no improvements there, it doesn't really make sense to put 30 or 40 feet of sidewalk in the middle of that block. It doesn't serve anybody. So in lieu of fee is that developer, that property owner would pay that in lieu of fee to the city. The city would then put that towards development into our critical pedestrian routes. So areas that would link our neighborhoods to our downtown and critical facilities to each other throughout our community. So we're developing that infrastructure as we speak and finding out that map and hope to have I think I guess a better plan to provide connectivity, especially for pedestrian traffic in our community. And this is just another avenue that we think that makes sense for our development community and the city as a whole.
So there's one action agenda item, and it's resolution on a TIB grant acceptance for Olympic Highway North improvements. We've talked about this, but this is a needed project.
Yeah, very much so. We're seeing degradation of that roadway for the last couple of years. This is a $4 million project, about $3.6 million actually a little over 3.6 because we're putting 2 different grants together. But we just received 3.6 from Transportation Improvement Board. We've got another over $300,000 of federal grant funds for pedestrian improvements on Olympic Highway North, and our plan is to repave, add pedestrian improvements at intersections from C Street all up to Wallace Navy Boulevard. So really looking forward to this project. This accepts the grant. We'll be going to design very soon and looking to complete that project in 2025.
Sounds good. Just a couple of the items coming before the City Council and the Shelton Metropolitan Park District. Tuesday night, 5:45 for the Park District Board, 6 o'clock for the City Council. You can come and watch in person in the courtroom at the Civic Center, or you can get on the Zoom, or just watch it on the city's YouTube channel.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.